Where do you find the mass of the element? Periodic table. On the top, we got the atomic number. It's the protons. Symbol. Right here is the molar mass, or mass of 1 mole. So look at the periodic table. It says 12.011. So 1 mole weighs 12.011 grams. So 12.011 grams per mole. 1 mole weighs 12 grams, and it says so on the periodic table. Now, of course, if we're talking about 1 atom, those are AMUs. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about grams. So you can round it off, makes life easier to the nearest 12 for our class. Our purposes is just fine. 12 grams per mole. And once again, here is the periodic table. You can find all of the elements. Sulfur is 32.07. You can round to 32. Carbon is 12. Silver is 107.9, so you have to round up. Okay, so each of these atoms, or each of these moles of atoms, have the same number, but have different masses, just like elephants and cookies. Okay, so there you go, back. So the molar mass of an element is you look on the periodic table, it is that number of atoms, and that comes from the periodic table, the average of each of the little atomic masses, which is the other previous topic. So we got 12 grams is a mole. We found that on the periodic table. 24 grams is 1 mole of magnesium. And, of course, we already covered that copper, 1 mole is 64 right here, 64 grams. So, how much is a mole of carbon? Do you remember? I don't know. I had to look on the periodic table. It's 12. What's the mole of 1 calcium? What's the mass? Let's see. I look on the periodic table. It's 40 grams. Easy, yeah? So now find the molar mass. You look at the periodic table. You can round to the whole number. Mole of silicon, look it up. Mole of tin, look it up. It's right there. Oh, it's right there. So it is, silicon is 28 grams per mole. Tin is 119 grams per mole. Remember, they both have the same number of atoms. It's just that those silicon atoms are lighter than the tin atoms, just like lead atoms are heavier. Okay, so what happens when you cut a mole into, an avocado into 6.02 times 10 to the 23 pieces? A guacamole. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, so here we have, you saw moles of elements. Here's moles of stuff in beakers. You got a mole of sulfur, weighs 32 grams, and that's what it looks like. A mole of iron weighs 56 grams. Sodium chloride, that's salt, weighs 58 grams. Ooh, potassium dichromate, that's orange, but look, its mass is much bigger. And oh my goodness, this is sugar. Its mass is 342 grams. Each of these things, yes, they're different volumes. Yes, they're different sizes and different masses, but they each have 1 mole of each of those things. So if you counted all those atoms or molecules, you would get 6.02 times 10 to the 23. Okay, so now how do we figure out the mass of molecules? And we're going to spend a bunch of time on that in a little bit, but I'll just do it really quickly for you now. So for sodium chloride, which we covered a second ago, a mole of sodium chloride has 1 mole of sodium, Na, and 1 mole of chlorine, Cl. So 1 mole of sodium weighs 23 grams. 1 mole of chlorine weighs 35 grams. So you add those together, and you get 58 grams per mole, which is what we had before. Now, something that's a little more different. Oh, it's got a little 2 there. Uh-oh, what happens when you have a number on the bottom there? Well, you got to do something different. Got to do something different. And the different thing you need to do is, drum roll, multiply. Multiply. So 1 mole of silicon weighs 28 grams. There's 2 oxygens. 2. So you have to multiply the oxygen mass, which is 16, times 2, because there's 2 of them. This is our counting atoms. So 2 times 16 gives us 32. So we have 32 grams of oxygen, 28 grams of silicon, and because it's together, we add them together, we get 60 grams per mole of silicon dioxide, which is also sand. So we got sand and salt. Ooh, here's one more, and then we're good for this part of the video. So let's do another one, calcium chloride. We have calcium. We look up calcium on the periodic table. We see it weighs 40 grams, and there's only 1 calcium there. There's 2 chlorines. So we have to do that, look up 35 again, and we say, oh, there's 2 of them, so 2 times 35 is 70. And then we add them together to get 110. So calcium chloride, the molar mass of calcium chloride is 110 grams, and it weighs grams per mole. And if you're curious how many atoms there, how many molecules of calcium chloride there are, 6.02 times 10 to the 23. Okay, so here's some work for you. You can figure it out for yourself. N2, got to multiply by 2. Oxygen, multiply by 4. You add them together, you get the answer. And then the molar mass of potassium oxide, K2, K times 2. And oxygen, there's only 1. So oxygen times 1. You add those together.